What is up, DTube and the Steam blockchain? So today I want to talk a little bit deeper about the Earn 24/7 paradigm shift. I don't think many people have grasped that concept, including me, because people that have been experienced with Google AdSense, which is an advertising network from Google, they've been knowing it for 15 years, that, wow, you have a blog, you do some videos, you do photos or whatever. You have ads that is being showcased 24/7, so you earn from your content. So that was a paradigm that started quite early, 2003, I think. Or maybe AdSense was a little later. I know that AdWords, I think that came in 2003. But okay, so it started this this truly virtual age where earning is not really tied towards hours, where a human they cannot really exponentially grasp that a page is going to earn forever. If the internet still exists in 50 years, it may still earn something if that page is still up. And you consider that, and this is something that YouTube have it with its new this archive earnings feature. And when you really start to consider that, it's very hard for the human mind to grasp, because they think, okay, because we so far been so in that mode where you do an hour's of work and then you sort of gonna get an hour. But with archive earnings and AdSense and how the virtual world works and how all the token systems are gonna work, with archive earnings feature, it truly is going to be limitless earnings. And that's something that people say as they say that as a sort of like a buzzword. Oh, you can earn limitless whatever. But it hasn't really been the experience of a human, or for most humans. But now we're starting to have these systems. So for example, with all these archive earnings, you have a lot of content creators that has made content for 10 years and they can still earn from stuff from this that they did 10 years ago. And because it's still up and running, it's still getting clicks or page views. And then you look at all these blockchain networks and you realize it's going to be exact same, probably 100 times more efficient, 100 times more value because of better systems. And because of a better network effect. So that's going to change how a lot of people look at this, I think. Because then it's going to be just, as I've seen in other things, you collect numbers, you do collect followers, likes, or maybe some fiat value or whatever, shares, comments. It basically is a numbers game. And eventually you master the numbers game. You sort of understand how it works. And it just keeps ticking, and compounding even. So everyone is going to have that if they want, basically. This 24/7 thing that just keeps on rolling stuff in. And because businesses always needs to, because everything is so focused on production and stuff like that, a lot of this is just going to be automated. And just as AdSense is sort of automated already. There is almost no human involvement. If a person starts a blog, they can sort of put AdSense on there, and I think it's just robots that just makes most stuff. And blockchain networks are going to work somewhat the same. Yes, humans are going to go and curate stuff, of course, also. But you're also going to have people experimenting with other systems. This is what we see on the Steam blockchain. So it gets quite interesting when everyone has this 24/7 thing going on. And a big thing is because most people cannot really experience the benefits right now, because in the physical world, like if you want to do stuff, it's you're still tied to the fiat stuff. You're still tied to this weird monetary system. Or I mean, I'm not sure if I should say it's weird. It's just that it's your grandpa's system. It's your grandpa's coins. And yes, grandpa maybe bought a house for 5K, and that's why he likes the grandpa coin. But can you buy a house for 5K or 10K, or do you need $1 million, 300,000, 500,000? I mean, yeah, it looks like you need to just wait it out before the next wave comes in, and that right now most of it is just scraps, because it's more about if you make a network grow, which almost no network has right now, like a true network effect. Even Bitcoin and all this, almost nobody's using it. What is it, around 5 to 10 million addresses that hold Bitcoin? I mean, it's nothing in terms of like a true network effect and people spending and stuff like that. I mean, there is, like, crypto is basically nothing. But when the networks really starts to kick in and people realize that this is not going away, like the code, the math is still there, it gets really, really interesting. I mean, it gets really fascinating when you really start to look at it from this larger perspective. And that right now, I mean, even $1 in whatever, I'm not a financial advisor, but in a person's favorite X coin or whatever, that compounds pretty quick. It really does. Because you have to consider that an exponential industry, I mean, as I said, I'm not a financial advisor, but you could say $1 is basically $30. I mean, 30x. We've seen a ton of those. And now I look at it in a long-term perspective. And of course, a lot of stuff fails. But let's say we say that a person makes... I mean, even if they make a lot of mistakes, eventually they're probably going to hit the home run. If they always learn. So this space is sort of as... the first couple of years, you don't know anything, you're a failure, you make all the wrong mistakes. But eventually you're going to get better. I mean, it's the same as humans in any field. Eventually they are going to see what is not working and what is working, and they can sort of pattern recognize. And then it's like that $1 or whatever it now is, if you say a day, that is going to compound like crazy. And well, it's so much about, because all of these are new language systems, and that they're networks, and that they're sort of a paradigm shift. That's, yeah, especially that it's new languages that requires a totally different view of things, that a person realized that, oh, we don't really know the ideal system. This is big reasons why it's kind of slow, the space moving, but in some ways I also think it's moving fast. We did not have super cool smartphones 10 years ago. We did not have even close to any sort of mega epic blockchain tech, especially for blogging and stuff like that. Almost no easy way to buy stuff, coins and stuff like that. Now stuff is starting to opening up, and I think it's really interesting to see both the failures and the successes, because I feel that I learn more from watching what fails, because those are painful experiences. And when something is painful, let's say a person lost a lot of value in something, they learn faster. I mean, it's like, in the long-term perspective, that's the irony, that failure probably is going to learn you way more. And the irony with that is then you're probably going to get more success. That's not a guarantee. There probably is a lot of people that have just successes and it just works, everything. But yeah, I mean, it's really wild to consider this 24/7 earn thing. That sounds utopian. It sounds like some BitConnect scam, but because here's the thing, it's not when something is not in someone's reality or in their experience, they cannot really understand something, right? So everyone in this internet age, everyone is sort of having their own very unique experiences, especially now when we have so much machine learning that sort of is playing with your mind and stuff like that, so you don't really know what other people's experience are. But if you keep on doing something, eventually a couple of years in, you're sort of going to grasp what is happening, and humans always want to seek out like what is working, what is not working, what is life, what is happening. So it is gonna be a wild paradigm shift. And the biggest paradigm shift is that, I mean, that ability that it's not really based on an office or a location, as a so-called the label that you must use, the job, that when it's virtual, they really, it's not like a location, or it doesn't have to have a location. It's in the cloud. It doesn't matter like the remote value systems. It's happening in the cloud. And it can start to sound super philosophical. For example, if someone looked at me doing this 10 years ago, they probably would be super confused. Why I'm doing this? Why? Because to get into this blockchain space, there's so much stuff a person has to sort of look at. And for example, before I was sort of exposed to Steam and all of this, the way you looked at money was more that it's an object, it's some real physical thing, and it's kind of central, and it is some magical thing. And then you realize what money really is, that it's just an agreement between two parties about making a trade. And that is based on basically belief that, oh, something has value and I sort of want that value. And that when you really sort of open that up and look at the peer-to-peer possibilities, there is so much opportunity, because most people do not consider that wait a sec, we can just do this peer-to-peer now, like person to person. It doesn't need a third party in between. Yeah. And people owning their own tokens, their own value, it's just fascinating. But yeah, this 24/7 earning thing is really whack. It is really whack, and it's just gonna change so much stuff. Because I mean, even with AdSense, it was only for a few publishers, right? But now, when we're moving into prosumers, it sort of is as everyone is a producer, a consumer, a creator, publisher, or whatever, without any need for middlemen. They can do something else that is more productive, that is more needed. So it's basically just going to be better for everyone when you really take a look at it. It doesn't mean it's not going to be a bumpy road, of course. But yeah, I mean, it's fascinating. Even though I have sort of experienced this for around 8 years, the 24/7 earning ability, I'm still amazed about it. That it actually works. That it's just in the cloud, and it sounds like a scam, AdSense. I mean, it's like, I remember the first time I earned, maybe in 2011, and actually seeing real value flow in, it was magical. But we're sort of always expanding our borders of ignorance and sort of always learning more stuff. So first stuff seems like magic, and then we sort of get used to them. Just as the smartphone seems like pretty much magic for someone 100 years ago. And someone that doesn't know about blockchain or any about this, they look at blockchain as kind of magic, and it kind of is. I mean, it kind of is. Yeah, I wanted to talk a little bit about that. It's very cool. Abundance is really cool. It's really going to be abundance, and I'm looking forward to seeing brands and seeing networks grow, and it's just exciting to see that on Telegram. Seeing people innovate and coming out with new stuff every month now. Yeah, and also, it's just fascinating how you can see teams are working. Something that in the old world you can never like see how teams were thinking or what they were doing. It was less accountability because it was more of a distant relationship, but now it's more like closer and real time, and it makes everyone sort of be more on their toes, and yeah, that's what I want to talk a little bit about today. 24/7 earnings with tokens, not stuck in the 3D physical value system. It's amazing. Like it truly is something that always goes on based on math. Humans can use proof of brain. It's great. Game theory, all of this. You're learning so much. Yeah. Have an awesome day, DTube and the Steam blockchain. Bye bye.